Hey, wow.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, hang on a sec. I've got loads of pop-ups all over the... Oh, sometimes I feel so old, Tom.
What?
Just
What
join.
that on?
Wait, just everything, basically. How do I get rid of this? Oh, yeah, press got it. Sorry, there we are. Oh. It's life generally just now. It's just like full of things that make me confused and
Right.
depressed, and I'm cautious about everything.
Well, first thing to say is you've got a very nice lamp.
It's rather attractive, isn't it? Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I like it. I do like that. And there's a nice lemon tree to my left that you can't see. You just have to take it for granted. Just to believe me.
That sounds like you're hallucinating large trees that can't possibly be in the room that you're in. Oh, look at it. Oh. And I'm also drinking wine.
I'm kind of trying to work out what to do with this. This is a kind of a USB dongle thing. Just really, technology is just getting to me. That's, there's lots of things happening. The arts.
How old are you? But that's not a personal question.
How old am I?
Yeah.
This very year, towards the end of this very year, I should be over 60 years of age, Mark.
Wow. How does that feel?
It feels weird, actually. It kind of feels, you feel kind of vulnerable, or it's a psychological thing that takes place in your head, a load of mind games that that are intellectually nonsense.
Yes.
But you can't help feeling that you have to go through each one of them, like reading a bad short story. You just kind of keep on going down these incredibly addictive kind of routes in your mind, which are wrong, but you feel washed out, useless, past it, done. Like, this is it, life's over. You're gonna, you see, it's just weird. And yet you're just the same as you were a short while ago, and you'll be the same as you are after it's happened. You know what I mean?
And what were you like when you turned 50?
I was optimistic. Oh, when I was 50. Those are the days.
Running through the meadows in my shorts.
Oh, barefooted through the meadows, I'll have you know.
Barefooted through the meadows in the shorts. Topless.
I kept my top on. Obviously, I was bottomless, but I kept my top on.
I was very jolly when I turned 50 as well. Yeah, it's kind of funny that you've kind of taken us to this place, because I've been thinking about well, first of all, we've had a whole series of middle-aged men slagging off Playtime's music on Facebook in a quite hilarious fashion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's probably people that obviously don't like kind of improvised, the sort of wild and woolly end of jazz. They just don't like it, and they feel the need to go and just say, "I don't like this."
Really?
And it's all middle-aged white men, and it's like it's kind of like they're like kind of moths that have to go, a certain kind of moth that has to fly towards a certain kind of light, and when they get there, they have to register their view. Otherwise, they have failed in their job to fix the universe somehow by documenting their. But the go on.
I was going to say, I think it's actually a very real demographic. The middle-aged man is, I think, probably the angriest amongst the angriest kind of bunch of people on the planet.
Yeah,
they're just kind of looking for things to get angry about.
Yeah,
basically, that's what the world's been reduced to, anger fixes. I'm doing it. I find myself getting angry about something that's completely pointless. I'm not offensive to anyone, but there are some things get me. I can give you a couple of examples if you want me to. Yeah. Right, I'll tell you what gets me really riled at the moment. That bloody exhibition at the Tate Modern, right, where they're taking a Turner painting, right?
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of digital artists to digitize it and then turned into a moving thing in a surround screen, and their strapline is they brought the painting to life, thus completely misunderstanding the point of the painting, which is that you bring it to life with your own imagination.
Yes.
For God's sake, that kind of thing, that's really irritating me, because it's indicative of what's happening in the arts, which has been reduced to almost like a cocaine for society's nose. You know, it's just, we have to now titillate sensibilities, entertain banality, and just produce complete bollocks for people to snort in a moment and then go move on to the next moment. And so, yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, thank God we're doing a Piazzolla concert dressed as chickens. That's all I can say. You know what I mean? Because if we do a Piazzolla concert,
you're dressed as chickens.
that wouldn't be enough to do a Piazzolla concert. But if we dressed in chickens,
walrus.
everyone, you're going walrus, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
wow,
sorry. That's great. I mean, I love the fact that you're pissed off about that, because your dad is a sculptor, isn't he?
My dad's an artist. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of personal for you.
As am I.
Well,
as are we.
No, I'm a drummer. I've got nothing to flick. And we know that as a violinist, we've talked about this before, but you do use your hair as a weapon. Come on, let's face it.
Well, yeah, but you know, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I had to put my neck out. I'm not very good at doing that.
And in fact, when people write music for you to play, they actually have a separate stave for the hair movement.
Oh yeah. I insist on that. I insist on
lower head and shake locks, toss locks back. Brush lock with bow.
My hair clef. I have to have a hair clef.
Yes.
Otherwise, I just don't play. You know.
Yeah. So you said there was another thing that was grinding your gears. I'd love to hear all of them, the current ones.
I suppose, but it's generally about things. Well, actually, ironically, because it's social media.
Social media. Wow, you've come to the right place. You've come to the right place.
You know, it's just the fact that we can't see, putting on a concert isn't enough anymore, right? Just like playing music suddenly isn't enough, and I don't quite understand that. I'm confused, Tom. I'm old. I'm an old man, confused by a changing world, and I feel, you know, like fuck it. You know, it's all bollocks.
Yeah. Well, you're the second man I've been talking to today. I was visiting a very wonderful. I'm not gonna say his name just because I don't want to be. But he's was this very wonderful 87-year-old jazz piano player with my father-in-law who's 86.
Right.
And my father-in-law thinks that the Beatles ruined the world, and he blames the demise of Western. Well, mainly the music industry. It's mainly the music industry was destroyed by the Beatles, because they were both around in the 50s when jazz was really popular and was in the hit parade and everything. And lots of it was very mainstream, and lots of young people, and there were loads of work for musicians. There were big bands and lots of clubs in every city, sort of thing. So there was masses and masses of work, and jazz was really popular. And the jazz that was being played was sort of Dixieland, trad jazz. And so my father-in-law, Ronnie, blames the Beatles because the Beatles came along and ruined the music industry, and all the jazz musicians lost their gigs. And people stopped liking jazz. And then the other guy, who I love very much, blames it on John Coltrane for starting to play modal jazz. And while he accepts that it was a sort of logical step for the music to develop into, he felt it kind of ruined it, and I go there quite regularly. I take one to see as well, and I argue with these old guys. You can't blame it on the Beatles. You can't. The Beatles, it was bigger than that. It was like radio, and young people became young people, and It was a whole huge social changes. You can't blame it on the beat. You can't blame it on John Coltrane, you know. And I get really, and we have these big arguments. It's fucking great. And in this situation, I'm the 57-year-old representative of youth. So I'm like the young guy arguing with these mid to late 80s guys who are moaning about this. And to them, it all went to shit in the 60s. That's when everything went to shit.
That's where it's wrong.
For us, that was when everything was wonderful.
Yeah,
and it's gone to shit in this decade probably. I did want to ask you about playing with coming to Playtime and which is exciting because you did a Playtime thing in lockdown, but it was the Bagels and it was the Playtime Presents thing where you played your gig. It was in lockdown. And you did the live stream thing, but this is kind of subtly different in that you're sort of coming into our world,
creeping into
our world, and we're kind of playing tango music. And obviously, you've worked a lot with Mario in the Bagels, but this is also Mario's kind of world as a jazzer. I know. We're not going to go into that conversation about who's a jazzer and who's not. Don't need to go there. We've done that before.
Yeah.
But, how are you thinking about it? What's your plan? Have you got any plans?
Plans is to wear extra underwear. I think. No, I mean, I'm looking forward to it because it's that whole thing of like Piazzolla has loads of form, you know, it's incredible form.
Yeah.
But it's a form that always seems to be, to me, kind of begging to be taken on a journey somewhere.
Right.
You know, because it's such a specific kind of set of colors, tango. And I don't know, I've always wanted to kind of be part of a tango piece a piece of Piazzolla that then starts to move out of itself into something else and then finds its way back home again.
Yeah.
And we'd actually been talking about in the Bagels, we've got a couple of Piazzolla stuff. We were thinking of like, how can we start this journey, this adventure, trying to take it somewhere and see what happens to it. And then this came up, which is like, it's ideal because it means we can see and for me, I can do it in really safe hands. You know what I mean? In that,
we've improvised together before. You and I.
Exactly. I was going to mention that thing.
What are you thinking about?
About that time that you gave me free improv workshop after we were down in Dartington.
Yes.
And I didn't join in the free improv.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, because I was afraid.
We were down in Dartington with Robert McFall's group.
We'd gone down. A few of us had gone down ahead. You, Fraser Fifield, Rick Stanley, and me.
We were there ahead.
Yeah, we went there a few days before because we were starting some earlier workshops. So there was just us there, and you saw your mate in the pub.
Ballard. He's one of Europe's great music. You know, he's an incredible jazz musician. And in fact, we're about to release a Playtime album of lockdown improvisations that we did with people over the internet. And we're there in their house and we're in all our houses and we're improvising. He's on that album. And I did an interview with him, and he took us around his house. I had an argument with his wife. This is all on camera about borrowing. They only had one laptop charger between them, and he needed it because his laptop was running out. And they had a proper argument, and then the laptop conked out. So he disappeared from the interview because his laptop had run out of battery. Anyway, he was the guy we met.
That's right.
We had to have a jam, and you went through this thing, which was kind of, to me, was interesting because it was like, because you're such an incredible musician, and you seem to go through a sort of emotional thing.
It's, I suppose it's because I like improvising. I like making things up, but I always do it around either the concept of melody or the concept of form. I mean, look, it's like everything I've ever done is to shape in music. You know what I mean? I respond to a shape that's there and do something with it. The idea of doing something where there is no shape to start off with, for me, was like, suddenly was terrifying. I mean, I just didn't know how to be as a musician. And I sat and watched you all. And
I remember you lying on the floor.
Yeah.
Under a table.
And it was like listening and seeing almost like a universe be born. It's like a load of matter was spinning around, and gradually it found itself into these kind of solid shapes. And it was just, and I remember sitting there thinking, oh no, I could have been part of that. I could have been part of that, but I didn't have the courage to do it because it required being so far away from everything that I was comfortable with, being secure, that I just couldn't bring myself. And then I was ashamed. Remember, afterwards, I felt really ashamed as a musician. Like, oh my God, what about?
And then the next day, I think it was the next day.
Yeah.
You and I went in there together, and we just started playing, and it was like,
yeah, we had a great time.
It was like, what the fuck, man? You can absolutely do this. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
You just started playing, and it was boom. You know, and it's like,
in a way, it kind of comes, I suppose it comes from that kind of heritage for me, in that as my dad's an artist and being brought up always with this idea of form and content, you know, that I couldn't get away from that. I couldn't imagine starting from nothing. And it was really, really, it was a real challenge, because I felt that as soon as I saw what nothing actually meant, it didn't mean nothing. I felt really dumb and stupid for not having had the courage to kind of jump in. And I also recognized that fear and insecurity in myself was based on what I thought I knew, which is fundamentally and philosophically nonsense, because whatever you know, actually you don't really know when it's put to the test like that.
Yeah,
and
the thing is it doesn't take any courage for me to start playing the drums. It's not like I'm very courageous, and you're not courageous. I think it would have been courageous for you to play the violin when you were feeling extreme feelings of fear, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to battle those kind of demons to start.
No.
Depending on where, just depending on the direction they've walked into the thing from, you know. And I do think it's really I think it's a fascinating area about how different there's these sort of different music making models in our DNA, and you see this from our tradition. So, like playing in some aspects of playing in the great orchestra, for example, terrify me, and following your conducting terrifies me. Not because there's anything wrong with your conducting; it's just that I don't feel confident with it. So then you kind of start going, Greg Lawson, you're a very beautiful man. You've got beautiful hair, and you know how to use it. And we're looking forward to meeting you on the stage at Playtime in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, dressed as a chicken.